Reduce that a little bit. Yes, there we go. Let me also make sure that I'm not capturing the zoom where it should not be getting captured. Headphones. Great.
This is a great listening.
Okay.
All right. I think. Let's
start with this. It's wild, man. It's really wild in these streets. You know what I mean? You got people killing themselves. You got people giving up. You got people doubting themselves. I can't do that. I gotta stand on 10 toes. Never bend, never fold. So I need you to know that I know that you need to know that I know that you need to know we need to keep going. Let's go.
Young fly nigga from the ghetto. Been got it so I don't sweat on. Yeah. Take my spot, I won't let on. Work too hard for these medals. Yeah. Been on fire like the devil. Even though I just been coolin' and shit. Still I running a few of these shit. These rap niggas smooth with this shit. I done seen a whole lot of things out of different faces. So hold on to the same shit. And I always gotta stay dangerous. Cause lately, these niggas acting outrageous. 6 summers I've been running game, don't play me. How the hell you finna outpace me? Yeah, flame ain't never been basic, face it. Y'all niggas know that I'm the greatest. Mobbing on the late 9, working through the daytime. Ain't no way we can't shine. Heard it through the grapevine. Niggas wanna take mine, we ain't on the same time. Know it's finna take time, just to get the things that I want. I've been slaving, grinding real long. I can't wait, I gotta keep going.
Yeah. Hoping cast man in third world Milano, Donna Macazana, but Italiano on my body.
That is Flame and Maglera Doughboy. Keep going. That's a special shout out. Flame was working with someone that we lost a few days ago. I was on an hour-long phone call with a bunch of people that actually were planning on driving up to attend his funeral. So the industry, the Zim industry, the SA industry, the African industry, like
Tanya.
Say what now?
As in Tanya.
I have no idea.
Tanya Radzo, isn't it?
I have no idea what you're trying to say right now.
Go on. Sorry. Go on. Go on. Don't mind me.
Yeah, we lost someone this week that I personally, I think we'll get into it in the show. Like I've got a lot of memories of. Someone who connected us with a lot of people, man. I think in the early days, he was the connect. Like whenever we'd hit up Joburg, he was the guy we'd he's the guy we check in with. But yeah, shout out to, as Dan was trying to say, Tanya Razwa Blati Mchemwa. It's weird calling him an OG, but yeah, I guess he was kind of like an OG. And I think the thing that hurts the most is he just left a wife and a 1-year-old child, which is tragic, but also things that started to really start to connect for him, man. Like things were really going well for him. Yeah, the last conversation I had with him was actually doing a recording session with Jordan in Joburg. And he was in Mozambique at the time, and he was trying to sort out visas for a bunch of his acts. So he was just moving and shaking. But it's been great hearing some of the stories, especially like people that knew him from back in the day, Celebration Church days when they used to have a band. A rap group. Sorry, apparently these guys were celebs. They were celebs in the Christian music scene back in the day. So. Yeah, shout out to Blah. I think we'll pay more homage to him later on in the show as well. But I think it wouldn't have felt right to not start the show without, giving him a little mention, because solid.
Just a reminder of the transience of life. I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about that recently, man. Just like, things just happen. People just like in the blink of an eye, done. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was sad news we got this week. But Phil, you know what? I was planning on starting the show with something, and then now I can't do that because look at the direction we've gone.
Nah, I think.
Okay. Look, let me do a quick transition. Yeah, sad news we got this week that we lost young man, Tanyaro Zablati Mchemwa, who succumbed to illness and unfortunately died this week. Yeah, and it was very sad news. For those of you who are in the music and general entertainment media industry, you would have known of him. He wasn't necessarily, I guess, the guy in front of the camera or anything like that. So I can understand if other people might not have heard of him, but almost everyone who like worked in the industry would have known of Blati.
Yeah,
so
I think. No, actually, that was on Clubhouse. But for those that use that our Dr. Chai episode, our Bantu episode, he was working with them at the time, so he was helping facilitate those interviews. There's a lot of stuff he's even done for this podcast, just behind the scenes, just connecting us to certain people. There's a lot of stuff he's done for me personally from the very, very early days. My first few trips. I remember, like the first ever quote unquote music business trip I took to South Africa. He was there. So he's kind of like inextricably linked with my journey. So yeah, it was a bit of a shock. But yeah.
Sad news. I was going to start with, Phil, as you can see, I've decided that since we're going to do some video, I'm going to use it to promote my wife's art. See? See? It's the stuff she's painted. I'll put it in the background. Cool, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that I was going to start with was just an earworm that's been stuck in my head like non-stop for the past 5 days. I haven't been able to stop singing this.
Say me Mario, please let me Luigi. No, I don't think so. Why? What you saying, bro? That bitch is a Luigi. Why you out of sleep? She be creeping on the low. Who said this? Everybody knows. Oh, Mario, don't save her. She's for this chick. Don't save her. Don't save her. Please don't leave me alone. Don't save her. She even gave me some too. Don't save her. What? Say me Mario, please help me Luigi. No, I don't think so. Why? What you saying, bro? That bitch is a Luigi. Why you out of sleep? She be creeping on the low. Who said
The genius of this amazing work of art, definitely in the top 0.01% of content ever created on the internet, is the video. And if you've never seen this video, please go and look for it. It's called Mario Don't Save Her. Before Nintendo comes with the lawsuit, it's just
Weirdly,
it's amazing.
You know, it's interesting because I literally was on a phone call with a client today who's being sued by Nintendo. So thanks, Dan. Thank you.
Well, all of us are being sued by Nintendo. It's just either you're currently being sued by Nintendo or it's going to happen soon. Why does this keep shaking? It's not. There we go. Yeah. So, welcome to another show. Two Broke Twimbos are Burke, and let's start the show the way we normally do. Get the energy right, and just introduce you to how it goes.
Jump up in the club, everybody gather round. Two broke Twimbos in the town. Listen close to the sound. I need that guy and filter, baby bringing the fun. With the podcast vibes, we not stop till the morning sun. Every episode got me laughing, can't control my smile. Talking about the latest news with the unique style. From Zimbabwe to the world, keeping it real and entertaining. They're on the rise. Two broke Twimbos, head to the floor. Everybody get guy and feel charged in control. We gonna keep moving to the podcast floor. We gonna keep moving to the podcast floor.
ooh yeah, ooh yeah.
This week, Phil, we were able to enjoy just a little bit of back and forth with some of our patrons in the Patreon group. And several mentioned just this intro song, they need it. They need it and they require it for their consumption of this podcast. And you know what? I have to say, I feel the same. It's a top-notch top-notch intro song. And, I've been going to Suno recently and playing around with it. And I realized that as impressive as it is somewhat limited. You know what I mean? There seems to be a little bit of a formula, as is to be expected. But they really cooked. They cooked with this one, Phil.
Enjoy it while you can. They're about to get sued to oblivion.
They're in the process of being sued, but I don't think they will. It's in the same realm of every other lawsuit about content for AI and what. So I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be okay. Anyway, as much as we start the show with our intro, we also have to get in the right zone and the right mood. So I have to ask you, Phil, and our valued listeners, are you
good to go? Sound a big thing, them. Hey. Get mad now.
Let me hear a drum play.
Welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast. This is Two Broke Twimbos. My name's Danny that guy, aka Danos the Mad Titan, aka Denford Wikmaraini, aka Denimbi, my life your entertainment, aka I'm done with these streets. Say goodbye to our African visitors and back to normal settings, aka Hakuna Moment Danmu.
That's right. He's here with one only unmistakable, the won't cut your parable, the won't disturb your programmable Phil Child, aka Flame Lost the Big Boss, aka Pizza P, aka Sexy Ndlovu, aka Filthy Phil, aka DJ Mkarati, Phil on Musk, and of course Ashamore, Ditengere or Dringy. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. How you guys doing? You good? Are you well? How's your mental health been? We had a super blue moon the other night. Did that affect you? You know what I mean? Is your Mercury microbraiding right now? Like, what are your energy levels at, my sisters and brothers? We really need to, check in.
The other thing, Phil, is I think sometimes, Phil, we need to remind ourselves that, we're them. We're him. We're them. We're him.
We is him.
Excuse me. Okay. Listen to this, Phil. What do you hear when what is this?
Yeah, me now, you don't know the thing go. It's all about the two broke twimbos in Zimbabwe. You see it? Stormboy from Ghana, the Beam Nation president, known as the one guy representing. So we tell them, say, slow motion,
hey,
better than no motion. Yeah. Don't watch the condition. It took me a time to be a champion. Beep. Bless up.
Listen, this one.
What do you want me to say?
We just collected these and never edited them. And
where are they? I don't even know where these are in our file.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Nadia Nakai, and you're listening to Two Broke Twimbos.
Where, dude? Are these?
I found them in an old folder here on my laptop here. I was like, oh, snap, I forgot about these.
So did I, actually. I don't even know where they are. I need to find these drops.
Listen to this one.
Maradona, focalistic, and I'm here with the, what is it? Two Broke Twimbos. How do you say it? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, this is not doing what you think it's supposed to be doing.
You see, I should have listened to them beforehand, you see. Actually, I should have prepared them beforehand. I'm going to do so for the next episode. We're going to have a line of some really dope drops. Do you know what I'm saying? I literally, as I was preparing for the show, I was looking for some stuff and I was like, wait, what folders? Yo, what is this? Yo, I forgot about this.
Yeah, share that with me. I can't seem to find mine.
Yeah.
No, I got plenty.
I'll upload it.
I got plenty. I know we've got. But I don't even want to use it because it feels really icky. But we've got a AKA, like we've actually got a bunch of AKA drops.
Why would that be icky? Is his influence no longer valuable, or we had AKA on the show, Phil?
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
True.
We have a very, just as a human family, we have a very weird relationship with death, just in general. It's always difficult to figure out what to do after someone's died, and I get it. I mean, we all feel that way. Anyway, be that as it may, let's focus on some Africans doing big things. In fact, let me start off with some Zimbabweans doing big things. Now, some of you who may be newer to the podcast may not be aware of this, but your boy Danny is a big Arsenal fan. We're getting the title this year, and you know what my club has done, Phil. You know what my club has done. First of all, shout out to Trey Nyoni, who's shining at Liverpool there. Yeah, so that's separate Zimbabwean doing it big, but we've mentioned it before. But my club is doing a series of features of top fans. So in an article that was published on the Arsenal website, it did a feature on a Zimbabwean by the name of Marianne Chiromo and her family. To me, Philip, this is a Zimbabwean doing it big because it is a Zimbabwean recognized by my club, Arsenal, as one of the top fans. I'm very proud of you. Well done. Marianne Chiromo and family. It's beautiful stuff. Moving on to another Zimbabwean doing big things. Virgil Abloh was a big name in fashion. Virgil Abloh, there's a scholarship fund that has been set up by Virgil Abloh back in I think it was 2020. It was called the Virgil Abloh Postmodern Scholarship Fund and Equity. That was used to try and identify people with incredible skills in the fashion industry and help them to also reach greater heights. Well, I've got good news because the Zimbabwean designer Farai Simoi has been selected to be a recipient of this new Virgil Abloh Postmodern Scholarship Fund that will be helping her to get to greater heights. She will be working directly with the Fashion Scholarship Fund Executive Director Peter Arnold. And she'll be doing her thing, expanding what she's done in fashion. So far, she's already done some work for the likes of Jay-Z, Beyonce, Rachel Roy, Anne Klein, even Nicki Minaj. We've even mentioned her on this podcast before. So now she's going to be a recipient of this fund. And we look forward to seeing what she's going to do as she goes forward. So congratulations to Farai Simoi for getting this particular thing. And I hope to see celebrities dressed and styled by the Zimbabwean Farai Simoi as a result of this. The 2024 DSTV Content Creator Awards have been announced. We got these last week. And in there, we have some Zimbabweans. Perennial Zimbabwean who's always in there, Kim Jade. She's mentioned in there. But this time also along with her, there's Kuda Rice, Zimbabwean writer and storyteller, which is mainly portrayed through poetry and spoken word, which has also been included. So congratulations to Kuda Rice as the second Zimbabwean nominated among many other Africans who have been nominated for the DSTV Content Creator Awards. So congratulations, you guys. Do y'all's thing. The others are all listed as South Africans, but just looking at their names and without putting anyone on blast, I'm like, are you sure? But let me not put anyone on blast.
Is this listed in our show notes? I actually want to just give this a peruse.
No. It's a Phil. As you are aware, we have so much stuff in our show notes that it might have gotten lost in the translation of things. It was just a quick Google that I put together here for some Zimbabweans doing it big. Yeah, Phil. Before we actually talk about anything, I have a story that I wanted to share. And this is why we have a podcast. So, yesterday, I went to go get some food because the madam is still away. Turns out she might be away for a little bit longer than planned because we have to apply for a visa again. Anyway, so I went to go get some food. And at this fast food spot, I ran into a young lady that I know. I know pretty well. Now, under normal circumstances, hey, what's up? Long time. Hug. How's it going? But she was standing there with someone who I assumed to be her man. Yes. So obviously, I didn't do dzungu. You know what I'm saying? I assessed the situation and I allowed her to dictate how this greeting must unfold. Because, some men be very possessive and dramatic and whatever. So she saw me, she was like, oh, hey, Dan. It was like an HR greeting. Good day to you. Good day to you, madam.
The HR greeting.
And it just got I laughed at the entire interaction because I was like, yo, that's hilarious. Because, first of all, some people have not been that considerate with me, can I say? But then I was thinking about it. I was like, yo,
you've touched. Okay, you know what? Actually, you know what? Carry on. But you've triggered me. Carry on.
Yeah, so just that interaction that happened. I thought about it and I was like, I have to bring it up on the podcast because I was going to ask you. Let's say, Phil, as you are, we know a lot of people. We're very outgoing. We meet people. There's many people that we know that we are friendly with. Under any normal circumstances, if you bump into a young lady, a woman, whatever, this goes across generations. So let me not say young lady, a woman. And under normal circumstances, the way you've met previously, the way you've interacted in the past, if you meet, there's going to be a hug and maybe a somewhat enthusiastic greeting. Do you hold that back or do you tone it down if she's with her man? Or do you remain true to yourself, integrity? I'm going to be how I always am. I don't have to act different just because you're with someone else.
No, the way I do it is like I would, unless we have a quote unquote history, I'm going to, the way we normally reach that, which is normally like a hug. So, but a church hug, I'm not picking up off of you because the moment you lift, like if you pick someone off of their feet, those are fighting words. You know what I mean? Now you just ask them to ask it. But this has happened on both sides. I remember there was an event I was at. I was walking to the crowd, and someone stopped me and said, "Hey Phil, how are you?" And they hugged me. But it was weird because they're watching the show. Their man is behind them, and the man has their hands around their waist.
So you weren't a triple. There was a sandwich.
When she came for the hug, the man then released himself. But now it's awkward because typical decorum manners would then dictate you then look to him and say, "Hey, baby, this is Phil. Phil, this is so and so." I would then be like, "Pleasure to meet you. You're good," and then keep it moving. She did not do that. So then now from my years of experience, because I know where this might lead, I am now the person that's like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Phil. Pleasure to meet you." And I hightailed it out of there. You guys can figure.
See, that's what I did in this other situation. Because then I was like, "Hey, man, I'm Dan. Good to meet you." Because I was expecting, just like what you're saying, like, "Oh, what's up? This is blah, 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 and this is blah, blah, blah." Now, obviously, there's, people have different comfort levels. There's no universally accepted, this is what you must do and this is what you mustn't do. This is why I was asking you. Like, let's say for me, if I'm walking with my wife and she meets a guy she knows, a friend of hers, whatever the case is, and he's like, "Oh, hey, pleasure to meet you." They hug. No, to me, that's normal. Then I would expect, "Hey, this is blah, blah, blah. This is my husband, blah, blah, blah." That's what I would expect, right? Mm-hmm. If he's like, "Oh my God," lifts her in the air, and then look. Now it's like, yo, whoa, what's going on here, right? If he completely doesn't acknowledge my presence or my whatever, it's also a problem. But then that's my level. I know other people have different levels, which is why I said I leave it to you to dictate how this interaction is going to go, right? I'm not going to be weird because I'm not with you. I don't have a history with you. I don't have anything with you. I just know you as a person. We're friendly. Mm-hmm. In fact, we might even be friends.
But some people are bad.
Your man.
I've even realized that people are bad at handling like introductions, especially if it's a situation where it's undefined, or there might be a situation where the person comes to you or goes to them and is like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing?" And then they don't know, and I've had to stop and explain, like, this is actually a very simple thing to solve. All you do is you introduce and then you fake a cough. You know what I mean? And then so like if Dan comes to me, for example, and I don't know who Dan is, and Dan's like, "Yo, Phil, what's up, man? You good?" Bet I'm like, "Oh, what's up? Yo, what's up?" Yo, this is so and so, and then and then like step away. Therefore, buying yourself enough time where hopefully one or both of them should realize, okay, oh, by the way, sorry, I never got your name, blah, blah. And then just listen up and then, oh yeah.
Well, Taz and I have got this down to a science, all right? Because it happens a lot. And this is not going to work very soon because, relatively new wife, I'm introducing you to someone you've never met before.
Mm-hmm.
So she knows the moment I say, "Hey, man, good to see you, long time. This is Taz, that's my wife." She knows that she's going to say, "Oh, what's your name?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she knows because she knows if I haven't said his name or her name, then it means I've forgotten it. My bad if this has gone through with you. I'm terrible with names. But anyway, my point is,
don't we know it?
Let's view this.
Don't we know it? Dan
So,
made some
Phil, you
powerful
said-
enemies. Dan made some powerful enemies because of his bad collection.
So, okay, Phil. So you said you would give a hug because that's the normal interaction. You just give a hug.
Yeah, if we're friends, we've been platonic. Every time we meet, we give a hug. I'm gonna give a hug, unless your body language indicates otherwise. And I've also had the flip where, granted, I explained this to a friend, and they were explaining, no, this person was playing hard to get. Where I was cool with someone, they started acting weird. I literally saw them on the road, and then they just did some weirdness on the road. So we're out in public. I'm not even expecting to acknowledge the person, or at the very least, hey, what's up? And so I just do that. Hey, what's up? They come in for a full hug. Now I'm caught unawares. So and also like I'm a tall person, so whenever you hug me and I'm not ready for a hug, now it just looks like like a child hanging onto a dad. My arms are up here, and you just which is also another weird thing. But ultimately, I think people just don't know how to handle situations. But here's a PSA to all the women listening. Women.
I think it's needed.
Women, to save you and also us problem, because what you also don't understand is you might not even know your man the way you think you know your man. He might decide to swing hands. Men have swung on men for less than unwanted, unexpected hugs. So don't put us in those situations. You know what I mean? Give us the heads up. And you know what a great heads up is? Like, to know what the dynamic is, so we don't even have to read between the lines. If you know we're coming in for a hug, preempt it with the, fizza. You good? Perfect. That already lets us know what's going on. We can read between the lines. We will not be offended. I will not be insulted in any manner, shape, or form. You know what I'm going to do?
The friend will never be insulted unless he's weird.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
And you know what I'm going to do? I'll give it 36 hours just to make sure, right? I'll wait for working hours so that I know you're not with him, and then I'll send a bunch of laughing emojis. And, and then we can then discuss the dynamic. So I'm like, oh, so where did you meet? You know what I mean? But don't put us in those awkward situations, because men are always on high alert. Especially like if he feels you like a baddie, those men are they're like like lions. They're like lions with a fresh kill in the Serengeti. They're looking for the hyenas everywhere. You know what I mean? So anyone is a threat. Don't give them a reason to think we're threats. Okay.
I'm gonna, in the nature of this podcast, I'm gonna pivot this from a fun, light discussion to the dark underbelly of society. First of all, ladies, if you're afraid to greet a man because of what your man might do, it might be a little bit abusive. Because
it might be innocuous.
Hear me out.
It might be.
No, hear me out. Hear me out. The comfortability levels is not the problem. I can completely understand a man who says, do you know what? I'm actually not comfortable with some random dude coming to hug my girl. To me, I think like, maybe you're being a little bit insecure. But if you feel that way, you're allowed to. But my hope is he would be able to have a conversation with you and say, babes, I know he's your friend, but if you don't mind speaking to your friends, that they don't just randomly hug you, especially when we're together, because I feel uncomfortable about it. If you're scared, it means you're worried that he might do something to you or do something to me for something that's innocent. And then that makes me question, so why are you with them? So I'm just putting that out there. Maybe it's an oversimplification, but I think it's pretty straightforward as far as I see it. Secondly, men. Yo, there are things to be legitimately and for real uncomfortable with. Let's say, for example, you get to the club and the bouncer greets your girl by name. You should have a conversation.
No, there's no conversation. If the bouncer greets you by name, I'm making a U-turn immediately. We're not going into the what?
How come?
Yo,
we're still the bouncer hugs you,
especially like,
and lifts you up.
My guy. I'm like, yo,
if a hug happens and a sheet of paper can be passed under your shoes, we gotta have a conversation.
No, there's no conversation. It's done.
That's completely understandable. But to expect that in all the years, maybe even decades before she met you, she'd never interacted with another man, that's silly. Of course she knows other men, and of course she's friends with them. Maybe it's even true that some of them are into her. Maybe that's true. But obviously she still knows them. Obviously they're going to greet. Obviously they're going to interact. If you're uncomfortable with a hug, have a normal conversation where you say, hey, obviously I know you got friends and that's cool, whatever, but I'm just not comfortable with a hug. I don't know. I don't see why you shouldn't be, because that's a normal way of greeting. But I don't know, maybe you got baggage or trauma, or I don't know, whatever it is that's going on with you. And you have every right to express your comfort levels to your partner. But if she's afraid, and I've been in that situation, and the exact same one you're saying, Phil, where I can't send you a message because he might see it, and then that might be bad for you. So let me wait till data. That's messed up, man. Don't be in that situation.
But I think we also then we have to be pragmatic, and I think the advantage we have is a certain level of maturity, certain level of experience. A lot of people are a lot more insecure than they let on. A lot of people are willing to make concessions, a lot more concessions than they would like to let on, that they would like the public to know, right? We know dating is hard. Relationships are hard. People are going through it. And sometimes you have to make a catch-22. Yo, he's attentive, he listens to me, this, that, and the third, but he's a little insecure. Yeah. Okay, is that a compromise I'm willing to accept? Yes, no, maybe, whatever that may be. And I'm not even going to touch on like a problematic or abusive relationship. I'm just talking about like normal relationships. The other thing is, because of society, because of social media, and maybe because of lived experience, people do have their feelers up with the relationship. Like, they don't want to get made to look the fool. They don't.
Yeah, you don't want to be a chump.
And
meanwhile,
and
someone somewhere is calling you a simp. Meanwhile, yeah,
exactly. Not only that, and I think we've all experienced it, where you're like, yo, this person was doing what? How? You know what I mean? And like the partner was none the wiser. So I think some level of, I wouldn't say it's, it should be the standard, but it's understandable, where some people are just very hyper cautious, and I certainly don't want to be the reason for even that conversation to happen. I don't want the conversation should just be, oh, so who's Phil? Oh, Phil is so. Okay, cool. You guys are friends? Yeah. All right, cool. Seems like a nice guy. You know what I mean? I would pray and hope that's how the conversation goes. You know what I mean? I don't want it to go beyond that, because I just don't like.
Yeah, of course. That's not what I'm talking about. That's why in fact, that's actually what I'm saying. I'm saying like you should be able, let's say they do feel uncomfortable for whatever reason. Their feelers are up. You know, I've been following too many weird, like, did you see what Newsday posted? Anyway, it's okay. The point is, for whatever reason, you feel a certain type of way, you should be able to communicate that. Even if you feel weird and can't really communicate it, if she feels afraid of you and what you might do, I'm sorry, that's a problem. That's a problem. She mustn't be afraid. I mean, a small amount of fear is healthy. And that fear should be, I'm afraid of hurting you. Not fear that you'll hit me or fear that you'll do something. No ways. Anyway, to close it off, just as a PSA, all right? Those of us who are not, like, okay, if you are with your person and then you're going to greet me or someone else or whatever, and you know your person is weird, you have to communicate that. You have to put that across. You have to just be like, hey, and put your hand out very quickly for a handshake, like Phil said. And then on our end, if I bump into you somewhere and you're with your person, I should also not be extremely enthusiastic about, oh my God, hey! 2 hands on buttocks. No ways. Just keep it demure, keep it mindful.
Very demure, very cutesy.
Exactly.
Yo.
We keep it moving.
Actually, we need to talk about demure. We need to talk. Okay, first and foremost, brands, stop it right now. Stop it.
Yeah. Okay, Phil, it's just a story that happened to me that I felt I wanted to share.
Her yesterday that I found. I was like, oh, sorry. I hate that like TikTok just opens up.
Autoplays. You can turn that off.
I need to think. I'll make sure I get her name because I know it's got LeBron. There we go. Jules LeBron. There we go. She was crying like she was crying on TikTok. I saw I don't know when she posted it, but I saw a post where she was like, "Yo, I literally was working as a cashier over the weekend. Now I'm flying to Vegas to host an event, and now I've got money to complete my gender affirmation surgery." And I was like, "Yo, like," and the weird thing is she's making money, but there's no way she's making as much money as she should be, because had she copyright written that phrase, granted, I don't know if it's possible because it's not exactly a unique set of words, but like the amount of copy that has been written by brands copying her vibe and not paying her a cent is insane.
I have complicated thoughts about. It's like, did you know that Fabrizio Romano copyrighted "Here We Go"?
In which country?
I think across Europe, which is weird.
How is that even allowed? Here we go.
But obviously, again, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know the exact details, but it's obviously there's an understanding that it's within the context of football discussions and within the context of a new signing or something like that. And see, what happens is he says something regularly enough that he becomes associated with it, and then now there's an understanding that, oh, like, how sure is this transfer? No, it's "Here We Go" done. Which means, it means it's probably going to happen because Fabrizio Romano said "Here we go" on it. There's like this understanding. For those of you who don't know, by the way, Fabrizio Romano is a famous football journalist who has become famous for knowing when transfers for football clubs are going to happen before they happen. It's kind of ruined the sport, to be honest. Because there's no longer a surprise like, what? It's now, yeah, we knew when the rumors started. Then we knew when they started talking. Then we knew they rejected the first bid. Then we knew they accepted the second bid. And then it's like there's no surprise to it anymore. But be that as it may, to me, the fact that he's able to copyright those words in that usage, while from a technical standpoint, I understand why it's legal. From another standpoint, I mean, it's the same. Like, okay, again, what you say? Jules LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
She created some TikToks that went extremely viral that were using those words. Shout out to her. The nature of social media is that a lot of things go viral. Does that mean everything that goes viral must be copyrighted by the person who created it? Everything that goes viral, and there will be something viral every day, multiple things going viral every day. Should the person who created that viral post then copyright the thing that they did because they created some? And you see, here's the other thing. This is going to sound like I'm going to sound like such a hater. You didn't actually, like, you did create, but it's not like you created art or
that's where you're wrong.
You said something.
It is art then.
I disagree.
What is art?
art is obviously something that can be interpreted in many different ways. But the point that I'm trying to put across is there's a billion TikToks being uploaded every week. By the nature of the way the site is set up, some of them will pop off. Some of them will go viral. It doesn't necessarily always mean it's the best made, and art doesn't have to be good. I don't mean that at all. But my point is, a lot of people saw it and enjoyed it. Saying a sentence, and then people, like, to me, you didn't create art. You just said something funny.
Oh, Dan, you just said something funny? Okay, so
yes,
what's a joke?
I don't believe you can copyright a joke. I think you can copyright a set.
No,
okay. Dan, I'm not talking about what you can actually do.
Okay, I think.
Let me rephrase. Hold on. We're talking about my opinion. I'm not talking about what is legally possible to do. I know that you can, and that's what I'm fighting back against. I'm saying I don't think an individual joke or sentence should be able to be copyrighted. I think a set should be able, because you've now combined things into something. I don't think a sentence should be able to be copyrighted.
So how long is the set?
The people who are able to do enough research to determine how much of things put together should be allowed to allow this to be a unique thing. Because, let me put it this way. Was she the first person to say demure and mindful? Of course not. She was just the first person to go viral for saying it. What I want is a way to determine that there must be enough material to determine that you were actually the person who created this material. You created this material, so that's what I mean by set. I don't know, some research would obviously have to be done, like how many sentences put together, how many words put together. I don't know how you would measure it. How much put together does it qualify to be an original piece of work that you can then copyright? But a single sentence, which you were not by any means the first person to ever say, you were just the first person to go viral for saying, shouldn't be something that you should be able to copyright. That's what I believe. Just like a single note or a single line of notes put together shouldn't be something that you should be able to copyright unless it gets to a stage there's enough notes to determine that this is an original piece of work that no one has made before. Therefore, you can copyright it as your original piece of work. But just stringing 5 notes together, it shouldn't be something that you can copyright, especially if that is something that has easily been done by other people before. That's what my mind is on all of this. That I know the law currently is if you're able to, essentially, if you're able to be the first to go and copyright something, and you have enough of an argument to prove that it's yours. Demure and mindful is absolutely you're not the first person to say that. The first person to say that should be able to copyright if those are the rules. The rules shouldn't be you went viral for it. Therefore, here we go. You're not the first person, Fabrizio, to say that. There is somewhat of an argument to be made that now when it is used, his name and brand is associated with those words. So I can somewhat understand to a certain extent. So maybe my mind is a little bit different there. But in general, just a few words put together shouldn't be something you should copyright because you went viral for it. That's what I mean.
Okay. You're wrong in multiple ways. So,
how can I be wrong? It's my opinion.
Yeah.
But yes.
Your opinion can be wrong.
Tell me why your opinion differs.
Well, also, it depends how we're approaching this. Are we approaching this from how our moral standing? I'm using moral loosely here in terms of what you and I believe, or what the courts have decided, because those can also be different. But in my opinion, the way she delivered and interpreted that phrase and those words was a joke. Like, it was a comedic joke. It was 2 sentences that were hilarious, made and also misused. In fact, she didn't even use demure in the correct way. Like, and that, I think that's the fun part about it, right? If now brands, particularly brands, let's stick with brands. If now brands are using that because they're riding the wave, I think that there should be some form or system that allows her to participate in the upside of that. Whether it's copywriting, I like the system in which that happens.
Why?
That's complex.
Why?
Because if you come up with a popular phrase, right? And this is indeed a phrase. You should be being best with. Now legally there's precedent for this. I don't know why my mind is blanking. There's a very common phrase in hip hop. There was an interview that Comeback Jack did. I think it was Grandmaster Caz. And he was like, yo, I came up with a one line. And this one line has been used by so many rappers. He's got co-writing credits just because they used that one line. It's considered an interpolation. And he was able to eat for 30 years just off that one line. So that's the
grand opening, grand closing, maybe?
No. This is predates that. It's far beyond that. I'll remember it sometime, and I'll just randomly shout it in the middle of this podcast. But my point is, if, say, for example, if a podcaster were to start a podcast, and at the beginning of their podcast, they just started shouting "Wagwande, Wagwande, Wagwande," how would you feel that?
So.
No. Just answer that. I'm asking because I want to continue my point, but just answer that question first.
I might say, damn, you're biting my style or you're stealing our intro.
Okay. So that
here's the thing.
Wait. I just wanted your answer because I'm going to continue my point. So now, is it not fair to say that if someone is biting your style without any attributation, so it'll be one thing if they were like, yo, shout out to the two Broke Twimbos, Wagwande, Wagwande, Wagwande. But if they just go Wagwande and they don't let the audience know where they got this from, is it fair to say that we have a right to feel aggrieved that our style is being used and we're not being attributed or acknowledged in the use of that style? Yes or no? Is that fair?
I would say, I have a longer answer than yes or no.
I do, but I want you to save that long answer because I want you to follow me along with my thought process.
Yes, and I want you to finish your thought process before I explain, but I'm going to say in some situations I might say yes, and in some situations I might say no. And I want to try and explain what those situations are.
No, that's a fair answer for now. And then you can explain your long answer. So my point being is, right, at the very least, social mores have dictated that if you are taking something that you did not come up with, granted, there are only so many original phrases in the world. So I forget the phrase you just mentioned with the soccer journalist. What did you say again? What was the phrase?
Here we go.
Here we go. For me, here we go. I don't understand how any judge would hear that and be like, yo, yeah, fam, that is such a common phrase that there's so many iterations of that phrase. I don't see how that can be used in that instance. However,
but it's situational dependent. So it's not like if you just say "here we go" in any other situation. But if you say it in reference to a football transfer. Also, by the way, I was reading this in a tweet, so it might not be 100% accurate. I never researched it.
So that being said, and I'm bringing this up because there's so much original creation happening on TikTok, an amazing original creation on TikTok. Or any social media platform. And this generation, social media technology has allowed people to create original forms of story, original pieces that they should be able to at least be rewarded for. Like going viral is nice. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, I want Jules LeBron to enjoy this moment. But 6 months from now, is Jules LeBron going to be eating off this? I don't think so. Will very demure, very cutesy, very mindful still be part of Lexicon? Probably. It's like the On Fleek girl. Like, On Fleek went global. I can't tell you her name. You know what I mean? Is that fair? I'm not sure it is.
And I completely disagree with you. In your words, here's why you're wrong. I don't believe Shakespeare should copyright the words that he invented, of which there are many, because now the whole world is using them. I don't believe that.
But they're in public domain.
I think what puts, okay, Thank you. These are the words I'm looking for. Obviously, we're looking at an amount of time that has gone past. But here's my belief. I believe that if you have created a piece of art or a piece of work that someone is able to commercially benefit from, that's not you, you deserve an amount of that. But the debate now comes into what qualifies as a piece of work or piece of art. And that's what I was trying to explain earlier. To me, a sentence, very demure, very mindful, is not a piece of work or a piece of art. To me, it's something funny you said, which people say all the time. I would argue that if you film anyone who's air quotes funny long enough, they will have something that may go viral. I don't believe something going viral is the keys to you having something that's a piece of work or piece of art. And I think simply using words that puts them in the public domain, just simply using a few words that were put together, and again, you didn't create them, you didn't make them, you were just speaking. For all you know, you said something that you heard before. And if you were to Google it, I'm pretty sure that you'll find someone who's used those words in the same sentence before. I'm pretty sure, because it's so simplistic. And if I'm wrong, if you're telling me in the history of humankind no one has said those words, then maybe you are the creator of that sentence. I still don't believe creating a sentence should be something that you copyright. But of course, this is just my belief. I'm not talking about what's legal. Now, to answer your question earlier about if I heard another podcast go with Wagwande, right? If I were to believe that they thought, damn, that was cool on the Two Broke Twimbos, I should do it. I might think that's lame. Come on, man, you should come up with your own stuff. But I didn't say Wagwande because those sounds just came to my mind. No, it's because I heard it from dancehall DJs and in dancehall songs. And I was like, ooh, that's high energy. What if we included that at the beginning of a podcast? I don't claim to own it or claim that I'm the creator of it. But when I listen to another podcast that might use it as an intro to their podcast, I might say, come on, man, find your own way to start that podcast. But I would think it is so self-involved to sue or to think that I own that's how you should start a podcast. I might think it's lame, and I might think, man, come on. And if that podcast all of a sudden would become the biggest podcast in the world, and everyone's like, damn, you know what I love about them? They sound so original with their Wagwande at the beginning. Oh, I'd be sitting like, no, but I'm the one who started it. But I wouldn't be so self-involved as to sue. What? To sue? No ways. To me, it feels like trying to take advantage. That's what it feels like. Trying to take it, because you didn't actually create. You're trying to take advantage of a viral moment. That's what it feels like to me. So it's like someone won the lottery and you're like, no, but wait, I gave him 50 cents to buy that ticket. No, I don't think you're entitled to it. I think, you said something that went viral. Very nice.
I think that example. That's a bad example, because if I gave you the startup capital to buy a lottery ticket, best believe I'm entitled to it.
You're not entitled to it. Because the lottery is a game of luck. You didn't earn. You're not entitled. The idea of entitled is I did something that I'm now owed. That's what entitled means. Because of this work that I did or this thing that I put together, I'm expecting as something that's owed, as a reciprocation, something. Games like lottery, you're not entitled to anything. It's a game of luck. Something like going viral, it's a game of luck. You didn't put any work to get reciprocal returns.
You are showing a thing. This is where I don't even know who you are anymore, Dan.
And this is not to say that content creators.
Dan, are you telling me if you come to me like, yo, Phil, throw me $1, I want to go do I don't even know the lot. Just say the lotto, Powerball, whatever. I give you the $1. You go do the Powerball, and we're together. We're in the short store together. I've given you the $1. I'm buying my whatever. I get a Powerade, a water, whatever. You get the Powerball. You scratch it. You've won $100 million. And I'm looking at you. I gave you the $1 to buy the Powerball ticket. Are you telling me you're gonna be like, no, Phil? This is a game of luck. I was lucky. This is my 100 million.
I owe you $1.
Oh, I'll kill you. Oh, you're dead. Oh, you're dead.
You gave me $1. Thank you, Phil.
Dead.
I owe you $1.
Dan,
because I'm a nice guy, I'm going to give you 100% interest. Here's $2.
Are you being serious right now? Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm somewhat being facetious. Okay. So obviously because I would hope that, hey, come on, man, you help me out to get this. I would throw something to you. But if I felt that you felt entitled to it, that somehow you are owed and you're entitled to it because you gave me the dollar. You gave me I could have used that dollar for anything. Once you gave that dollar to me, your tie to it was $1. It's done. It's now in my hand. I'm the one who went and bought a ticket. And even I am not entitled to those winnings. I'm playing a game of luck. Oh my gosh, I got lucky. I won. Because I want to be a nice guy, surely I would give the guy who I know is close enough to me that I can ask him for $1. Of course he'd get something, as would my family and my other friends. But I might hesitate if I thought that he was entitled to it or he felt that I owed him because he gave me that. You gave me $1, you get back $1, son. That's how it goes. But obviously, as friends, I would obviously be like, nah, I got 100 mil. Here's a young 20K for you.
You know,
listen. Here's a young 15,000.
Listen. This is who you guys are getting your opinions from. This snake.
Here's my point here. I don't like the idea of brands using TikTok trends and stuff. But you know what the beautiful thing is? Everyone else doesn't like it either. So I don't know why brands are doing it. Everyone hates it. No one's going to be like, oh my gosh, that's so lovely. So you shouldn't do it anyway. But I don't think if I said something that went viral, Phil, you tweeted on the timeline that Zimbabwe, it's our time to shine because ASAP Rocky was seen in that weird jeans and button-up shirt combination.
Mm-hmm.
And that went viral. So now if Edgar's and Jet and all those companies were like, Zimbabweans, it's our time to shine, and they started using that in their ads, would you feel that, nah, you guys you have to pay me because I came up with
wouldn't
that?
feel
it's a piece of art.
I wouldn't pursue that much. I just look at them sideways and I'm like, it's happened before. I remember. Okay,
yes.
It's happened a couple of times. But what I'm saying is, I would like a system. This is now independent of the brands and thing. I would just like a system that if you're a creator, if you create something that obviously has intrinsic value because it's being replicated and used, I'll be allowed to participate in the exploitation of that. It's the same way it works in all forms of art, whether it's joke telling, the paintings that are behind you, songs, poetry, literature, fashion, everything else. So I don't believe that just because it's done on a platform that you might view as non-valuable or derivative, whatever it may be, that it's any less valuable. It's the same. It's the same principle.
So just to clarify what I believe, I agree with Phil. If you create a piece of art, whether it's spoken, comedy, music, film, painting, sewing, whatever it is, you deserve the proceeds that come from the success of that art. Where I differ from Phil is what qualifies in the role of a piece of art. What is it that we say is the minimum standards to say this is art? Now, of course, from an artistic conversation, everything can be art. But let's speak from a business conversation. If someone creates a YouTube video, and in that YouTube video, they say hello over and over 1 billion times, no, it would be ludicrous to suggest that that person now owns hello if that video went viral.
I think you're being a little
I'm being deliberately difficult because I'm building to a point. What if that person said 2 words? Hello you, over and over, and that video went viral. Again, it would be ludicrous to expect that just those 2 words put together would constitute an original piece of work that needs to be copyrighted. Okay, how many words? How much would it qualify? We understand that it's possible that just because something went viral or there was value found in it that you did, it obviously does not mean that it is constituted as a piece of art that requires to be copyrighted. But how much work put together must it be to be considered a minimum threshold of, okay, once you cross this minimum threshold, now this is something that you can copyright. My view is a single sentence that's kind of funny doesn't cross that threshold.
Well,
that's the state that I'm in.
From a legal standpoint, it can be copyright.
Yes, of course. Okay. Again, just to clarify,
copyright.
I'm not talking from a legal standpoint. Yeah. I'm just talking from what I think it should be. So, of course, I know legally
even from a 2-word phrase. So, for example, Let me give you a perfect example. Dan. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. What does that remind you of?
Shusha, shusha.
But that's one word. You see my point now. So now,
Yes,
no. Wait, let me
but Phil,
finish.
you're making my point.
But that's what I'm
Okay.
saying. So now, delivery, tone, intonation, melody, etc. All of these play a part. So it's not like she was like very demure, very cutesy, modest. No, it's not very demure. Like that, the delivery within itself is there's a tonality, there's a pace that helps deliver the joke, and with one word, you can create an original work of art or an art piece. Now, what determines copyright and what determines the participation said creator gets in the use of it? That's up for debate. I think that's a much bigger and much larger discussion. But I do feel that, especially now, well, with this, and it's a perfect segue into our next topic, is
Oh, I'm not done. You've just refuted my point, and I want to refute your refutal.
people. But okay, refute my refutal, even though
We are spending a lot of time on this. Again,
You know, the
ultimately,
weird thing
this is just opinions, right?
We haven't even played the TikTok. We haven't even played the TikTok.
Well, are you sure we're allowed to, Phil? You know, my point is, the words are not enough. You have to, like you said, you have to consider the tonality, the intonation, all of that. So if you put all of that together, right, it's essentially you're talking about a song. Sure. Now you're telling me, okay, this entire thing in terms of the tonality and the delivery and the actual words and how it was put together. Okay, I can be in a conversation where I say, you know what, maybe that exact usage with that exact voice and that exact phrasing and tonality and whatever should be something that's copyrighted. But then no one would use it because everyone would agree, yeah, you can just say it slightly differently. It's okay.
So anyway, if you
could just say it slightly differently and get the same point.
This is the original TikTok from Jules LeBron. That's Jules with 2 O's. LeBron.
Work, very demure, very mindful. I work, see how I do my makeup for work? Very demure, very mindful. I don't come to work with a green cut crease. I don't look like a clown when I go to work. I don't do too much. I'm very mindful while I'm at work. See how I look very presentable? The way I came to the interview is the way I go to the job. A lot of you girls go to the interview looking like Marge Simpson and go to the job looking like Patty and Selma. Not demure. I'm very modest. I'm very mindful. You see my shirt? Only a little chichi out, not my chocho. Be mindful of why they hired you. Here's your reality check, diva. What's the name you'd like me to make it out to? You see how I...
Actually, this on TikTok is hilarious. Yeah, that's
funny. Anyway, it's a debate that shall go on. But yeah, what was the next thing you want to talk about?
I'm just gonna read the headline and then. Most Americans have signed away their right to take a company to court. This is from Axios. I don't know if you saw the story. It was on the timeline for a bit, and then I did a deep dive. But basically, nearly everyone in the US who's ever signed up for a cell phone, streaming service, or account on a website has signed away their right to take a company to court for wrongdoing. Here's the catch. Most of us never get confronted with that reality, but this week the issue rose to the public's attention in a particularly extreme case involving a widower's lawsuit against Disney. Jeffrey Piccolo's wife died after dining at a restaurant at Disney World last year. He asserted in a lawsuit this year she told her server at the restaurant about her allergies to dairy and nuts. But after dinner, she had a severe allergic reaction and died as per the lawsuit. Disney has denied any wrongdoing, arguing that Piccolo had waived his right to sue twice when he signed up, get this Dan, for a Disney Plus streaming account in 2019 and when he used the Disney World website in 2023, according to a court finding. Long story short, you know those long terms of service that you have to agree to when you sign up for something? Apparently, it also includes like, yo, if we kill your wife, you can't sue us. And this is why South Park will always be the goated show. There's literally an episode in South Park about this.
So, okay, this is actually a very interesting story. So, I think the reasoning behind it is this, right? Disney owns the theme park and also owns Disney Plus. So when you at home and you signed up for Disney Plus and you paid your $10 a month or whatever it was, you clicked agree on that little terms of service. And in that terms of service, it says you cannot take us to court. If you have a problem here or you have an issue with us, you can't take us to court. Meanwhile, when he went to Disney with his wife ate something with nuts in it when she was told that they don't have nuts in it. And because of that, she got into anaphylactic shock and she died. So now he was suing because you guys said there were no nuts when there were actually nuts. So you are liable for her death, right? Obviously, this is extremely frustrating to all of us who, what? Because Disney's lawyers were then like, oh, actually, no, he can't sue us because he once clicked agree on that thing. And that's why this became such a huge story. And I knew what was obviously going to happen is that there's no way Disney was going to go with this because the PR of this was going to be terrible. And as expected, Disney did go forward and say, yeah, no, of course we can take this to court. Yeah, don't worry about that whole can't take us to court. It will have to be an arbitration. And it's insanely wild that is even, I can't believe a lawyer even thought that. I can't believe Disney or whoever okayed it even thought that it would be okay to say, yeah, it's cool. Go with it. Yeah, sorry. Hey, you remember that time when you signed up to Disney Plus? Sorry about your dead wife, though. What? Why wouldn't they rather say, listen, we're so sorry about what happened. Let's keep this out of court because as you can imagine, we have some worries about PR. Can we pay you $10 million or whatever? Why the hell wouldn't you do that?
I know, right? Capitalism, because the moment, obviously,
no, but okay, even if you're thinking from a capitalistic perspective, surely you should know that this is going to go into a PR nightmare.
No, yeah. Well, once again, it's a PR nightmare, but PR nightmares happen every day. Sometimes you what's the hubris? Hubris allows you to think that you can ride the wave. Because how many resorts does Disney have across the globe? How many people eat at those resorts daily? How many people have allergic reactions at those resorts every day? I would say we're close to 3 figures. Like, I randomly gave someone an allergic reaction this weekend just because I had shellfish and I forgot I had shellfish and I was holding the shellfish and then I held them and then their skin started irritating. Like, you know what I mean? So
sure,
there's a high likelihood that hundreds of people have allergic reactions every day. Right? This doesn't include the people that fall and twist their ankle, get scratched up on something, maybe have a bad milkshake, throw up on a ride, poop their pants. I mean, the list of things is endless. And America is a litigious company. So you now do the numbers in your head. I'm sure an actuary was involved in this. And an actuary was like, okay, wait, let's run the numbers. You know what? Actually, it's going to be more prudent for us to fight this to the bitter end than to pay out, because once we pay this out, we can stand to lose X amount of dollars, blah, 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 blah. Because PR nightmare, we can't put a value on that until results come out, right? And even
yes,
that,
you can.
No, you can't until the results come out. Like before a PR disaster. So you and I, like even in our PR work, right? We'll know this is going to be a bad PR move. We can't necessarily predict how much it's going to cost. We can maybe get a range, but we can't predict how much it's going to cost. Correct? Am I fair in saying that?
It's fair.
So
I do think, though, that you can predict, while you may not predict the exact amount, you can probably predict, first of all, there's a potential of lawsuits, right? Far simpler to make people sign waivers before they go in.
But that's what they based this on. They based this on a waiver, but the waiver that they referred to was a waiver from Disney Plus. Not a
Of course.
waiver.
So my point is, okay. Okay. This is us putting our PR hats on, right? Here we are. I'm sitting in the Disney room with Bob Iger and his executives, and they're like, listen, this man is coming to sue our company. He wants 50 million from us or what? How much was he suing for? Let me see. Okay, it doesn't have any figures here. Okay, he's coming to sue us for whatever it is, $100 million, because he says that we killed his wife. What's the details of the story? Apparently, he went to a Disney resort and asked for some food, and he said, please make sure there's no nuts. And then whichever waiter it was actually brought nuts. Okay, so the thinking that might sometimes happen is everyone is scared of Disney. No one wants to go to court with us. So just hit him with some legalese and you'll be like, sorry, and they can go moan his wife. Maybe that's what they think. If I was sitting in that room, I would say, listen, guys, and we know every news outlet in the world stays looking at court documents because that's where the stories come from. So whatever happens in court is going to happen across the world. So right now it's a small story. This guy's wife died at a Disney resort because of an allergy. Right now, some people will be like, damn, that Disney employee should have done better. But it's relatively mild from a PR perspective. If we come out and simply make a statement that says we are devastated to hear about the situation, that employee who was careless has been dismissed. We have instituted a training across our... Let me finish. We've instituted a training across to make sure that this thing won't happen again. And we would like to meet you in person, sir. And we're so sorry. We know that no amount of money can ever replace your dead wife. But here's what we have going forward. Quietly, what you're going to do is every single person who enters any Disney property has to sign that whatever happens here, we are not liable for it. Death, injury, etc., please sign here. Because now, in future, if someone does die again under similar circumstances, right? It's far better to say, as you signed, before you even take it to, no lawyer would even take it up. There's no point in taking it to court because you signed that whatever happens once I enter here, Disney is no longer liable. But the flip side was, if you try to save money by going down the route of, hey, you agreed to Disney Plus, oh my God, this is going to cause a firestorm. That to me, it seems so simple and straightforward. And I agree, it's hubris,
but they're going to court. But Disney said,
okay.
we're not even going to arbitration. We're going to court. Let's see you in court, buddy.
Which is, do you know what? In that actually would have been preferable if that initial statement had not happened. Because their statement was not throw this out. Their statement was, this cannot go to court. It has to be settled in arbitration because of you signing here. If they had gone and said, hey, let's not take this to court. Come on, man. How much are you looking for? We're going to give you this much. Let's keep it out of court. Let's move forward. So if they say you have no choice but to keep it out of court because you signed a Disney Plus it's so obvious that this was going to become a thing. So at least that's how I see it. I could be wrong, yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be very interesting to see. Well, if we've got lawyers that are listening, I think we've got some lawyers in the Patreon group. We're going to ask them about legally what is the standing in America and in the EU and obviously in Zimbabwe and Africa with regards to this, where you can just have blanket waivers for stuff that doesn't even involve the service. So if I sign up for PlayStation Plus, does that mean if someone wearing a Kratos suit beats me to death, my family can't sue? You know what I mean?
Okay, let's use an example that really could happen. Phil, when you started up your brand new iPhone, you clicked agree on the agreement things there. Very likely in there, it says, if there's any issues that if there's any issues that you have with this phone, you cannot take us to court because they know that there's a billion iPhones out there. They can't give a billion people the opportunity to take them to court. So, you would have clicked agree. Then one day you're invited for a job interview at Apple headquarters. So you fly over there and you walk into Apple headquarters, and while you're in there, a loose brick falls and injures you severely.
Because we know that the headquarters was not built well.
So when I clicked agree, I will not sue Apple. And everyone understands the context of that it's in regard to me owning a phone. How is that comparable to, yes, I'm now in Apple, This had nothing to do with my phone. This is what happened.
But even that, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this whole case.
I would love to hear a lawyer say
this whole case is fascinating me because even that premise you gave, as fanciful and ridiculous as it seems, it's almost a facsimile to this. But we know that can't be legal because as many indemnifications and agrees that we click for Apple products, they still are liable for class action lawsuits. So I don't understand the legality of this. I don't understand how me agreeing. I don't. The other thing is I need to find out what the exact term within the EULA for Disney Plus is that indemnifies Disney of this, because it's, if this sets a precedent, it's wild. It's wild and it's scary. Can you imagine, like, so like if I agree to Disney Plus, I now agree to never be able to sue Disney for any wrongdoing ever again. And the wild thing is, like, we really are living in a simulation. We see these examples time and time again, but this is literally episode 1 of The Boys. This is like episode 1 of The Boys.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's literally what it is. Of which, by the way, just to be clear, this wasn't like their official defense. Or rather, I don't know what the correct phrasing is because I'm not a lawyer. Maybe it was the official defense. But what I'm trying to say is, it was something. Apparently, what happened was initially in the initial response. So when the lawsuit was first filed in April, there was no mention of this whole arbitration thing. They simply said, no, we're not liable because how do we have any control over what happened at that particular place? We are just the landlord of that entire resort. Which is and then in May, as you know, as all these things were being filed, in May, they said, no, the complainant, by the way, is subject to arbitration based on Piccolo's Disney Plus subscription, as well as him using the company website back in 2023. So it wasn't like it's not like Disney. How do I put this? It's not like this is the hill we're choosing to stand and die on. It's something that was mentioned in the filings. And I don't know how final this is. Again, maybe a lawyer can help us and we'll discuss this in the Patreon group. But ultimately, what a stupid thing to do. And I hope this man sues. I hope it's felt. Let me put it that way.
Dan, are you sure you the next phase of Marvel might be gone because of you? Are you proud of yourself?
I'm willing to sacrifice it because man, this upset me so much, man. Capitalism will capitalize.
Speaking of Marvel, have you been seeing your homie Jonathan Majors these past few weeks?
Hey, speaking of people acting wild, have you seeing your homie Chidima?
Did you see that video? No, that photo of him that they were roasting today of like him and
yes. where they were saying that.
You know what the funny part is, right? You know what the funny part is, and this is why I realized that humans are dumb. Like, we're all creatures that just follow popular opinion. Jonathan Majors has always dressed like that. He's always been corny. But when y'all thought he was quote unquote cute, it was nice.
No one thought he. Phil,
oh my God.
One thought he was cute.
They
thought he was.
No.
They thought he was hot.
Like, he's got rugged
and
features.
They had.
He's got rugged
yeah,
features.
I want me a real man.
They're like, he's so esoteric. He's so esoteric.
We ain't gonna compete on the product.
Look at his fashion, man. You know what I mean? He's so.
But ain't nobody thought he was
earthy.
cute.
He's so earthy. Now all of a sudden they're like, oh, he looks like he dresses himself like a child. Like, yo, yeah, okay, I get it. You know what I mean?
Y'all switch up so quick, eh?
Also, I get it. And also, like at the same time, like, you know, my man shouldn't have done what he did, and he was in the wrong situation. But I also saw that guy booking for his life. I can't get that. That man was.
I also feel like
discernment.
This somewhat goes. We've sort of spoken about this on the podcast before, Phil. That there has to be something we as society accept as penance. Mm-hmm. When you've done something wrong, which we all do, and not to make excuses for anyone, Jonathan Majors did something messed up, but like penance has to be paid and accepted. It's not like it's like. And I don't know what's right or what's the right amount of penance to pay, but surely someone can't be punished for the rest of their life for something wrong that they did, right? I'm sure everyone would agree with that. And again, him not being cast as a superstar celebrity doesn't mean he's being punished. I think him being dropped by Marvel and losing all those opportunities he was building.
You know, we actually.
What you
just
expect?
reminded me. You just reminded me of penance. I'm gonna come back to him losing opportunities, but I think this is penance. Dan, this.
I love you. I love you beyond all limit. With all my strength. With all my heart, I love you. I'm supposed to be this tough and strong, and you done carried me so many nights.
So just to give people some context.
Oh my goodness.
So you guys might have seen a couple of weeks ago, there was that quote unquote Hollywood Unlocked Awards. I think in the Patreon group we broke down what they were all about, and in the Hollywood Unlocked Awards there was some adversity overcome and so chuggery what award
with God on your side, blah blah blah.
That Iyanla Van Zandt gave to Jonathan Majors. No, shout out to the Hollywood Unlocked people. I see what they're doing. They're very smart. And shout out to Jonathan Majors' PR team. Very smart. Because they're using the same event to recreate talking points. You know what I mean? And trying to paint him as this sympathetic figure. Because these awards happened weeks ago. The video is only coming out now. So my man's is on stage. Also, kind of, I think a lot of people that were saying that he was jealous of Megan's, the attention Megan Good was getting on the red carpet. They might need to, I think they might be wrong because homie was clearly baking in that pasta suit he was wearing. And the wild thing, it wasn't even like a high fashion. It's like, Dan, I think you and I have like 3 of those suits each. Those are field service suits. We have those on lock. You know what I mean? But homie was sweating like a pig at the slaughterhouse on the red carpet, and he was sweating even more in there. Was there no aircon in this thing? I've never seen a man sweat through a suit. And I live in Africa. Dan, he was sweating through the suit.
I saw that. I was like, yeah.
But anyway, my man's on stage.
Some strong sweat.
My man's on stage, and he's not giving honor to his queen, Megan Good. You know what I mean? He's giving honor to his queen. So that's where he's at. And let's continue. Let's continue with the love.
I love you. Through the fire.
Oh my God.
Let's stay back. I love that part.
I love you. Through the fire.
Black love is beautiful. Black love is so
through the fire. Okay, Phil, my head is killing me.
Wait, sorry.
I have 2 stories I want to talk about.
There's something what did I say before I got distracted? Yeah. I wanted to talk about
we were talking about penance.
Oh yes. Okay. You know what? We've discussed it. I think we're now on the other side of it. We didn't come back to it. Remember when Tory Lanez was first accused, and we're like, yo, this might be the biggest bag fumble we've ever witnessed. Jonathan Majors was not to be outdone. He came out. It's even worse now because have you heard Tory Lanez prison music? He's been dropping songs from jail.
I have heard nary a peep.
Okay, cool. Fair enough. Who was the biggest bag fumbler? And this is a question for our listeners, patrons as well. I think, but this will be a fun discussion. Okay, no, not a fun discussion, but a good discussion to have because obviously both of them are accused of some serious things. Granted, Jonathan Majors a little less so. Who fumbled the bag? Who fumbled the bigger bag? What is the bigger bag fumble? Tory Lanez or Jonathan Majors?
By a stretch, Jonathan Majors. This is by a Letsile Tebogo. This is Jonathan Majors. Being the crux and centerpiece of the next phase of Marvel. Not to mention he was in it. Like, unlike RDJ, for example, or some of the other actors who that was the only gig they were doing, apart from 1 or 2 other small ones. He was in multiple major. I remember at some point he was like in, I think 3 of the top 5 of box office at some point. Mm-hmm. I think it was like Ant-Man, Creed, and something else as well, or something like that. Biggest bag fumble I can remember in recent memory.
We actually need to stop and think.
By a stretch.
What are the bigger bag fumbles? Like we really need to sit down and think about some of the bigger bag fumbles.
Let's put this in the Patreon.
There's
because I
Dennis
think some people
Schroeder.
come up with
Dennis
ideas.
Schroeder had Dennis Schroeder fumbled 80 million. That's an hilarious bag fumble. Who else?
Who's that?
Dennis Schroeder played for the LA Lakers. He was the starting point guard. And then he wanted a bigger contract.
Who's the baseball guy you told me about?
Oh, Shohei Ohtani.
The guy. Is he the one who did who made a bet through someone else?
Shohei Ohtani's worth way too much for him to go down. Oh, of course, they made his assistant take the fall. Remember, we discussed it. Oh, what do you mean?
Oh, okay, cool. What about Mason Greenwood?
What is his salary? What is Mason Greenwood's salary?
So he was on the he was about to become Manchester United's main striker.
Mm-hmm.
He was about to become the main striker at Manchester. Granted, Manchester United, it wasn't going to be their savior, but still, he was about to become the main striker for Manchester United, and then he was literally coming from the youth. Here he is as he's just made a couple of appearances. Oh my gosh, the team's going to be built around him, and then his whole domestic violence situation. Yeah. Okay, Phil. I have to move us along because I won't last much longer. But I have two things that I want to discuss.
So I'm looking at it here, Dan. Okay, well, granted, their squad is cack.
No, I didn't.
Because Marcus Rashford's is on 15 million. I believe that's the highest.
Oh, are you looking at yearly? But Phil, think about lifetime. Because now he's playing in, I don't know, Italy. I think it's Italy. He's playing in Spain. One of the smaller clubs. I think it's, oh my goodness, where is? No, he's in France. Oh my goodness, I'm just naming European countries. I don't know.
This is an episode of Where's Waldo?
Phil, okay, have you heard of Chapel Roan?
Church?
She is probably one of the biggest pop stars out right now.
What?
Okay.
Who? What?
I'm not even joking. I don't know how to say her name. Chapel, whatever the case is. She's if the top 5 pop stars in America at present, right now, there's an argument to be made for Chapel Roan to be in them, which is surprising to me because I can't name a single song of hers. But she's super famous in America. She's there with Anna Sabrina Carpenter, Chapel Roan, Taylor Swift. They're the ones who are making all the waves at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so let me actually, it's better if you hear it live. So there's a little bit of a delay because I should have looked for this video earlier, but let me just search for it now. Our intrepid producer will cut out this delay, don't worry. So, background. Chapel Roan, basically in the last few months, she blew up from basically being, like an indie sort of artist who kind of had a small group of fans, and then she had a couple of songs, and she went viral on TikTok and viral in so many places, and she blew up and basically became this huge arena selling out artist, and obviously all the tweens and whatever love her and stuff like that, right? So she was trending this week where everyone was mad at her, hey, cancel Chapel Roan, what. And it is because she went on her TikTok and said this.
I need you to answer questions. Just answer my questions for a second. If you saw a random woman on the street, would you yell at her from the car window? Would you harass her in public? Would you go up to a random lady and say, can I get a photo with you? And she's like, no, what the f? And then you get mad at this random lady? Would you be offended if she says no to your time because she has her own time? Would you stalk her family? I'm a random bitch. You're a random bitch.
So that's it. That's I mean, she continues. Okay, hold on. That's the crux of it. She continues to basically say, stop walking up to me and asking for photos, asking for selfies, and so on. This has led to a discussion which we've had on this podcast before, which is how much of a celebrity's personal life do we have or are we entitled to?
So, sorry, Dan, I'm very confused. So, break this down for me again because I'm lost. So,
okay. Chapel Roan grew super famous. Mm-hmm. And in a space of like 6 months to a year type of thing, from kind of a nobody to one of the biggest pop stars on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she put out these series of TikToks where she's saying, would you walk up to a random lady on a street and ask for a picture? Would you get mad at them if they said no? I'm that random lady. Obviously, she's super upset about people walking up to her. And she expands on that point and she calls people creepy. And she says, I don't care if you're a fan. I don't care if you love my music. It's creepy to walk up to me and ask for photos and ask to hang out with me. And she equates it to stalking.
I don't care that abuse and harassment, stalking, whatever, is a normal thing to do to people who are famous or a little famous, whatever. I don't care that it's normal. I don't care that this crazy type of behavior comes along with the job, the career field I've chosen. That does not make it okay. That doesn't make it normal. It doesn't mean I want it. It doesn't mean that I like it. I don't want whatever the you think you're supposed to be entitled to whenever you see a celebrity. I don't give a if you think it's selfish of me to say no for a photo or for your time or for a hug. That's not normal. That's weird. It's weird how people think that you know a person just because you see them online or you listen to the art they make. That's weird.
All her fans are, or a lot of her fans, as can be expected, are upset. Yeah, we're the ones who made you famous. You shouldn't throw us away. Whereas other people are saying what she's asking for seems very fair because you guys are so weird when it comes to celebrities. Now, this is of interest to me because we deal with a lot of celebrities and we've seen how they often interact with some of their fans. And we've had conversations on this podcast in the past where we've spoken about how much of a celebrity's personal life are fans entitled to. Because it would be naive to think my life is private. You don't get anything of me. All you get is my music. It would be naive to think that's the life of superstardom. Of course not. But at the same time, it's unfair to expect that these celebrities are now just our playthings because we know them through their music. Then they must do whatever we want. They must jump when we say jump, etc., etc. Right? Obviously, there's an expectation that there should be some kind of balance. So this is the background behind this, and it's a hot topic in white girl land, Phil. And I think I would posit to anyone who might actually know her music and people who might know her or who just have a general idea of this. I would love to have a discussion. Maybe not now because, like I said, I'm trying to wrap up. But I would love to have a discussion as to at what point where in fandom is going too far. Obviously, if we're talking about those crazy teenagers who support Nicki Minaj or whatever, we've already crossed the line. But what about asking for a selfie? What simply just asking for? You see your favorite celebrity out somewhere, and you say, "Oh my God, I'm such a big fan. Can I get a selfie?" As someone who stood next to a celebrity for a period of 10 minutes, you realize that in that 10 minutes, 20 people came to ask for a selfie. She obviously doesn't have the patience to go through 100 people every day for 100 days. At some point, she's not cool with it. And that will make people upset. But then also, do you have the right to just go and ask for a selfie?
No.
Do you?
No, you don't.
Can you just go ask for a selfie?
No.
You see your favorite celebrity at the airport?
No. Because
simple answer for you, eh?
It's actually simple. No. I think so. People. Let me not generalize, but I think the general understanding is somehow people feel that because they support you, maybe because they invest money in you, etc., that they're entitled to you as a person. No, you pay me to entertain you. Granted, my bankability, my ability to earn more money, my ability to earn more gigs, my ability to earn more of a livelihood is dependent on how approachable I am and how likable I am in public. If people see that I'm great with fans, it's going to make me more likable, right? And it's going to add to the mystique and everything else. But just as much, it doesn't make me any less of a performer or a viable or someone worth supporting if I put boundaries in place. I think also understanding that and approaching the conversation with nuance is important. I don't think she approached that conversation with nuance. She was very blunt. There's ways to go about it and just say, hey guys, listen, I love y'all. Thank you for the support. But listen, I really struggle with this. So like whenever I can, I will try to take a selfie, but please understand sometimes I may not be in the mood, blah, blah, blah. I think that's a better way to go about it. Making some random comparison to some stranger, like, fam, the stranger doesn't have a single, I've just streamed 50 times. What you talking about?
Her whole angle is, I don't care. If you don't like me because I said this, I don't care. Stop listening to me. In fact, she said in previous interviews, and I only know this because I watched it in a quick breakdown of what was going on. She said in previous interviews, if I could find a way to dial back the fame a little bit, that would be perfect. The fame is too much. I want a sweet spot.
Okay, I don't think I don't. How do I put this gently? I don't think she's trying. I don't think she's trying hard enough. Because if you want to dial back the fame, just be Sia. Dan, do you know what Sia looks like? If Sia walked to ZFM today, would you be like, oh snap, that's Sia?
Well, I don't think any of us have ever seen her. You see her anywhere? Tell me, anyone.
That was terrible.
Do you see her?
That was terrible. That was absolutely atrocious. But you get my point?
Yes. So ultimately, the question I'm now boiling down to is it okay to ask a celebrity for a selfie? Phil says no.
No.
I'm inclined to agree with him.
No. I never said that. No. There's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with asking. But there's also nothing wrong with the celebrity. But there's also nothing wrong with the celebrity saying no. Because
okay, fair. All right, I can accept that. But the problem is now, if there's 100 of you asking,
that's the point. But also, and that's sometimes we've been in situations like, even before I was on the other side of the velvet rope, for example, I've been in a situation where, like, I was at an airport and I met a celeb, and they were like, "Listen, thank you, but if you and I take the selfie, there's going to be 20 other people that are going to want to take the selfie, because right now they've kind of not picked who I am. The moment we start taking a selfie together, they'll figure out that I'm someone we'll take it, and then they'll connect the dots. So can we not?" And I was like, that's fair. Anyway, pleasure to meet you, Bap Bap. I even remember this one time I had a whole conversation with John Barnes in an airport lounge, and we didn't even take it. I don't even have a photo of it. You know what I mean? But it was a dope conversation because he was a Liverpool player. Like, I'll cherish that memory. I also cherish memories where I was on a plane with Tuku. The first time I met Tuku, we were both at the back of the plane, and he was like, "Yeah, no doubt." Like, he was very gracious. And then, but I'm the one that kind of broke that because everyone knew it was Tuku. You know what I mean? But people were scared. And then the moment I took a selfie, now everyone wants to take a selfie and all that. And then I was like, "Yo,
sorry."
You know what I mean? But so
I think I'm in that space you're describing, because I've also been excited to meet celebrities I like and ask for selfies. But I think now I deliberately don't. I'm sure there'll be situations that will come up where it's appropriate to take a selfie. But in general, I don't. If I come across a celebrity anymore, I no longer ask for a selfie. Because I think I've observed what it looks like from the other side. And I'm like, damn, this is kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Anyway, Two Broke Twimbos tip.
I mean, like, if the situation allows, like, sometimes I'll just walk up to them and just say, like, "Yo, really like what you've been doing, really appreciate it, blah, blah, blah." Because I know that sometimes those words of encouragement actually do make a difference. And in certain instances, they will then be like, "Yo, so do you want to take a pic?" Sometimes I'll be like, "Nah." And sometimes I'll be like, "Cool."
Okay, I'd be so mad if I was a celebrity and someone says I'm a fan. You're like, "You want to take a pic?" And they're like, "Nah, no, cool. It's cool. No, thanks."
No, because I'm not really that.
I'd be mad.
I'm not really a pic person. But it's also like I'm a special case because, like, even like from my blogging days, for example, right? I would be in rooms or in studios where you don't, like, I'm invited into a private space. And you read the room. So, like, you can tell when rappers know the cameras are rolling and they're behaving like cameras are rolling. And you can tell when people feel like, yo, there's a certain level of trust here. The things that are being done, conversations are being had that should not be in the public sphere. I'm not going to pull a phone out in that instance. You know what I mean? So, and in that instance, if celeb X walks in, even though I may adore him or whatever, I'm going to play cool. Because also, you don't want to be the weirdo, because now you're messing up the vibe. Because now people think, yo, we're in a safe space, we're in a safe environment. And then some rando that they don't know is like, "Hey, let's take a selfie." It's going to look funny.
And even if they don't, like, react negatively to it, they've already put you in a box. We can no longer have a normal conversation. You're now in this box of, oh, it's one of those people.
And that's one thing I've always emphasized is, like, if you act like a fan, they will treat you like a fan.
There was a video of I was really just trying to look for it quickly, but it's a brief video of a red carpet and and a journalist sees Jay-Z walk past, and she says, "Oh, what's it like in there, Jay?" And she says in a very like normal, friendly tone, and then he responds, he's like, "It's very nice." And then he tells people, "Let her inside." And then, first of all, I don't know what she looked at because it was from her perspective, so that might have played a part in this. But everyone, the commentary around that was like, can you see what just being normal gets you? It's probably something he never experiences from media, journalists, paparazzi. Just someone says, "Hey, what's it like in there, Jay?" In a very normal, friendly tone. And I'm sure it's normally, "Oh, blah, blah, blah." And I don't know, somehow it resonated. Sometimes just being normal is also good.
Now it's time for my black people business. I need to make sure. First, don't look at the screen. Don't look at the computer screen. Don't turn away from the screen. You can't Google this. Are you familiar with Sexy Red's?
Here are my hands.
Are you familiar with Sexy Red's new lip gloss line?
I am.
Damn it.
Booty hole brown.
You ruined it. You ruined it.
Etc. etc. Yes, I am very aware with it. And I'm very disgusted.
For those of you that are not aware, and I thought this was a prank, but there's actual packaging. There's like she's standing next to like a pile of a lot of these boxes. For those of you that don't know, Sexy Red has been, she's been charting. She's been running up the charts. Not really, but it actually reminds me. There's
struggling.
Remind me to discuss Katy Perry after this. So,
Philip, do you understand when I say we need to wrap it up?
I'm wrapping it up, but our listeners we need to feed the streets. Anyway, Sexy Red has come up with a line of lip gloss. And this is where I'm hopping off the train. I think sometimes I was already looking a little suspiciously, but I think sometimes people don't know how to push the right buttons. People don't know when the joke now goes a little too far. People don't know when you're now, for lack of a better term, being bamboozled. Have you ever watched the movie Bamboozled, Dan?
I have not.
It's a hard watch, but it's a great movie. And it speaks about, as a black entertainer, literally the shucking and jiving you have to do to the white gaze and how it can reward you in the short term, but in the long term, you're selling your soul. And I think Sexy Red is a perfect example of this because, let's be honest, Sexy Red is not a talent, right?
How dare you, Phil?
She had one hit, but she surrounded herself with great producers. Tay Keith continues to give her his best beats, and he's molded her into something that is somewhat marketable. But I think, especially with the last project, she's kind of fallen off the tracks. And things started to look real suspicious to me when white country artists started bringing her out to twerk on stage. And that's when I was like, something about this just don't smell right. You know what I mean? The Drake connection aside, that to me was when I was like, something about this just doesn't smell right. So now she's got her lip gloss line that's out. And as Dan highlighted, some of the flavors include, and these are real flavors because I'm looking at the list of ingredients and everything. There's packaging, there's QR codes, the works.
Philip, remember that my wife's mother listens to this podcast.
So then she definitely better not buy this. So, the first flavors.
Are we just gonna be bleeping these things?
We can't because these aren't.
No way.
Okay, I think the fourth. Okay. There's juice. Interesting. Booty hole brown. Nut. Hole pink. And this is when things really take a turn. Yellow discharge. What are we doing here?
Well, you guys will not know what the first three were because they're going to be bleeped.
Gonorrhea.
Beautiful.
Blue balls with a Z. And of course, how can you have a lip gloss line without the classic sex on my period? What are we doing?
Thanks, Phil, for sharing that with us. Top content that has really made us enjoy. Oopsie, what have I done? I've disconnected something. No, we're good. Enjoy, just our lives and things like that.
What are we doing here? Like, what are we doing? Like, as a society, what are we doing?
Phil, I can see you're moving towards the conservatism that I already started seeing.
Dan, I'm very liberal, but Come on.
No, I can see it happening to you as it happened to me.
Some coonery is coonery, bro. What the hell is going on?
I also used to be very liberal, Phil. I also used to be very liberal. But as time went on, I started seeing just exactly how these coons are moving, Phil. Okay, this is the last thing that I wanted to touch on, Phil, and it's about Bo DeMayo and Marvel.
Are we not going to touch on Katy Perry? Damn, we need to discuss Katy Perry. Anyway, I'll keep it short. Katy Perry, the fall from grace is wow. It's wow. From working to Uncle Luke to her last two singles being terrible. The first of that last single sounding like it was written by AI. It's not looking good. And I'm seeing a parallel between her and Drake. I'll leave it at that.
Teenage Dream. The Bo DeMayo and Marvel situation.
Who is Bo DeMayo, Dan?
This is where I'm going to come into my element because, we're now getting nerdy. Bo DeMayo is formerly the head writer on the X-Men 97 franchise. Now, bear with me. X-Men 97 was extremely successful, but as Bo DeMayo tells you, he struggled hard to convince Marvel for it to come out. Or so he claims. And he was the head writer, obviously worked with another team, and he finished writing season 1, and actually, according to him, also finished writing season 2 with the team before he was summarily dismissed by Marvel. This dismissal happened 2 weeks before the release of season 1 of X-Men 97. Apparently, they had already finished writing season 2 by the time that he was dismissed. There was no reasons given. Everyone was confused. And then when season 1 actually came out and people were like, yo, this is amazing, it became even more confusing. Why would Marvel get rid of the head writer of possibly their best work in the last few years? And I don't think it's hyperbole to say that X-Men 97 is possibly some of the best work they've put out in the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Bo DeMayo continued to show love for the show on his Twitter specifically. I actually followed him on Twitter because he was regularly posting like behind the scenes. Every time an episode would drop, he'd be like, okay, this is the story behind the scenes. This is why we decided to go with this, da-da-da-da-da, right? Remember, he's no longer employed by Marvel. And he's now doing this
and we
as
don't know why.
A regular citizen. Just a regular citizen. He's a civilian.
And we don't
tweeting
know
about it as we are doing. But of course, he's got inside information because he was a writer. So I followed him because I was always keen that every time an episode would drop, what's Bo DeMayo going to say about this, etc., etc. X-Men 97 season 1 finished. And the choruses were going louder. Nah, Marvel, you need to bring this man back. That was amazing. X-Men 97 was dope. And Bo DeMayo was just a young, subtle retweet over there, just really posting. And then the show was now finished. So at first, Bo DeMayo would post a little bit of stuff about, some fan theories or things that people didn't know. And as time went on, he just started posting thirst traps on his Twitter. I was like, hey, come on, man. So then, had to unfollow bro because I was like,
were they making you feel uncomfortable feelings you weren't able to resolve?
They were making me feel very uncomfortable feelings I was able to resolve by unfollowing. I was like, this is no longer about X-Men. Why am I looking at...
It was about... It definitely was about X-Men. You know what I'm saying?
Last week, Bo DeMayo went very weird on his Twitter.
Oh, that's when he went weird?
By the way, back in June, Bo DeMayo did tweet some stuff about the troubling patterns in his own words. Let me read out his statement that he put on his Twitter. This is after X-Men 97 had been done. He said, on June 13, Marvel sent a letter notifying me they'd stripped my season 2 credits due to he had put a post of himself on Instagram celebrating, because by the way, Bo DeMayo is gay, right? Very openly so.
I had no idea, but thanks for that.
So he put up a post, and then he was now saying that Marvel has informed me that they've stripped my season 2 credits due to that post. Sadly, this is the latest in a troubling pattern I suffered through while working on X-Men 97 and Blade. I'll have more to say soon, but I must take a step back from social media and find a safer space for me to be out proud and nerdy. Stay tuned. So he said. Oh, my man got all the support. This big, bad, evil corporation coming against the gay writer. We need to protect this
gay
man
writer
at all
of
costs.
color
Look at what
footy, man.
Of color on top of that. And look at the amazing work he just gave us. X-Men 97. Well, Fast forward to about a week ago. Marvel finally responded to what DeMayo said previously when he said troubling patterns, what. They said, Mr. DeMayo was terminated in March following an internal investigation. Given the egregious nature of the findings, we severed ties with him immediately, and he has no further affiliation with Marvel. That was a statement. So follow with me the timeline. Just before X-Men 97 drops, Marvel fires Bo DeMayo. X-Men 97 drops. It's amazing. At the end of X-Men 97, Bo DeMayo puts out this statement saying, my writing credits on season 2 have been stripped because I put up a gay post on Instagram.
Problematic.
Some weeks later, almost a full month and a half later, Marvel put out this statement. The statement simply says, there was an internal investigation. Given the egregious nature of the findings, we've severed ties with him. He has no further affiliation with Marvel. That was it. That was the whole story.
They had to strip the whole kitchen because this man was wild.
Separately, this is not from Marvel, but this is just now other journalists. Variety magazine actually said, a source with knowledge of the investigation said evidence was discovered of sexual misconduct and that DeMayo repeatedly violated his termination agreement, which led to the removal of his credits for season 2. Okay. Well, responding to this post on Variety, Bo DeMayo did something weird. He posted on his Twitter using quotation marks. By the way, which this is not from the article, but he made it seem like it was from the article.
Genius. Actually, I found that hilarious.
Look, writers going war against writers. So he put it in quotes as if it was from the article, right? In response to the article, but it was not. The truth will be revealed. After their Disney Plus disaster, Marvel wants to mislead with alleged contract breaches over tweets. It's tragic. It's come to this, but unsurprising. Stay tuned.
We've been tuned for 6 days.
Later on, he says
nothing has been tuned.
Later on, he says this is Disney Marvel's usual playbook, legal letters as well as other items to prove their long-standing pattern to follow. It's about finding a safe outlet. Thanks for your faith and patience. Up to this point, please remember, most people are like big bad Marvel Disney, and we discussed about big bad Marvel Disney, or big bad Disney at least earlier, against this poor writer who gave us this most amazing product. So that was the situation at the time. Then along came this blogger. His name is Jeff Snyder. Now he's built himself a bit of reputation in comic book land, or like nerdy news, as having a lot of inside information. But sometimes he's a little dramatic, and sometimes he blows things over the top. So you can't.
He's the academics. He's the academics. He's the academics of the nerd world.
He posted an article. It was behind a paywall, so I didn't read the full article, but thankfully, those who paid for it and read the article have extracted all the information that was in there, in which he said, I have all the tea of what are these allegations, what is it exactly that Bo DeMayo did, etc., etc. So, according to him, in this report, DeMayo, while they were working on X-Men 97, he would send nude photos of himself. Or in other words, or at least as it stated, photos of himself in various states of undress to several young male staffers. Typically, these were the young male staffers who were working on the animation. And allegedly, he was saying that they could use these sexually suggestive hero poses as inspiration. Inspiration for the show. Apparently, these young male staffers repeatedly asked him to stop, and he did not. And that was the reason why he was fired, because he was sending nude photos. After this, several people who claimed to have inside information stated that, this is par for the course. This is standard MO. This is what he does. As I heard the full story, I was like, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I think I'm on Marvel Disney's side here. He has not said anything since, at least up to date of recording. The last thing that he said was, thanks for your faith and patience. The last thing Marvel Disney said, by the way, was we've just cut ties with him. That's it, full stop. It's other journalists who are digging into the story. Now, Phil, as you know, one of my trusted sources of all things comic books is Eric Voss. I watched a video of Eric Voss breaking down the situation. And he said, listen, we don't normally cover this kind of stuff, but in this particular situation, I just had to come out and say. I can't reveal names, but let's just say you shouldn't be on Bo DeMayo's side on this.
Mm.
And look, if Eric Voss says it, Phil.
The same way Eric Voss speaks Xhosa.
Kosa, Phil, Kosa. Anyway, so this is an extremely wild story in the world of X-Men and Marvel. Obviously, we're going to wait to see what's going to come next. But apparently, Marvel are going to allow him to keep his writing credits on season 2 of X-Men 90. So he'll still be credited as a writer.
Mm.
But he no longer works for Marvel.
Mm.
So that's the story there. There is a statement. I found this in out.com/gay TV shows. It's not a joke.
When did this come out?
This came out August 21, so yesterday.
Okay. But he hasn't tweeted about it. Interesting that he has not.
So it's not from him, it's from his lawyer. Oh my God, the ads on this website close.
Yeah. Yes, the retargeting is going to be wild because those ads are going to follow you.
I know, right? I should have opened this on on incognito mode or something. So,
Taz is coming home to a surprise. Taz is going to be like, "Wait a minute, what, Dad? Do we need to talk? Like, what have you been doing while I've been gone? Is that why you always hang out with your boys, Dad?"
Bo DeMayo's lawyer, Brian Friedman, responded in a request from the blog The Streamer. Released a statement that says, my client never sent lewd videos and photos to his direct reports. That is a bold-faced lie and defamatory. Now, here's what's interesting. Oh, yeah. It continues to say, no one who reported Bo to HR received an inappropriate photo or video. That is simply untrue. As a proud gay black man, Disney knew exactly who he was and what he stood up for. That's why they did not tell him to stop his OnlyFans page. Oh, yeah, by the way, everyone assumed that the reason Marvel fired him is because he has an OnlyFans.
But apparently his OnlyFans, it's just him working out, just in skimpy attire. I thoroughly searched, I was looking for all of it. He's got great form on his upright rows. I'll say that much.
They let him be himself, which allowed his creativity to thrive. When they objected to his free speech rights and not complying with illegal NDAs, a certain person over there tried to replace him because he was becoming more successful than other creators. Ask Disney if his separation agreement illegally silenced him. Let me know what they say. Don't print this crap. It's wrong and defamatory.
Wait, a lawyer said that?
Yes, it's a written statement that was given to the streamer after they requested. So the streamer said, listen, we need a comment on this whole story, on this article that apparently he sent photos. And that was the statement they sent back. Now, in my experience, whenever someone says they're just jealous of his success, that's the best retort you got? They're jealous of his success? Yeah. Anyway, just some interesting nerdy background news about one of the biggest shows that came out this year. So I hope some things are made clear for you now. And I wonder what X-Men 97 season 2. Oh, by the way, some people were then now pointing out certain subtle details in the animation of X-Men 97 that made people say, you know what, this might actually just make sense. I don't know if that's true because he's a writer, right? He's not an animator. So I don't know.
But he'll brief the writers on this is what I want the scene to look like. And Magneto was a little kinker.
There were a few close-ups and zoom-ins that I didn't fully understand. But now it makes sense.
Rogue's booty, granted they reduced it in the final show, but
yeah, you got to appeal to a wider audience. Sorry. Okay, Phil, I have to insist on ending it there. Unless there's something extremely urgent you'd like to share.
No, you ruined it, but it's fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you very much for tuning in to another episode of Two Broke Twimbos. We greatly appreciate your support. I was just saying to Phil before we started recording, I almost called to cancel because my head is killing me. I took some painkillers. They help somewhat, but yeah, Mawan. But because of the love that we have for you, our listener, I locked in, gritted my teeth, and we came up with what I think was, an acceptable episode.
Dan, wait. Two big things. Two big, actually three. First, Asake's latest album, Lungu Boy, has 9 songs on the Billboard chart. That's insane. 1.
Yeah.
2, Dan, it's a dark day. It's a bad day. For the first time in a decade, Burning Man tickets have not sold out. Can you believe it?
Burning Man. You know which other festival is coming up that might not get sold out? Anyway, let's go on. Yeah.
So here's a fun one, quick one, because you're on the socials, Dan. I know you.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok released its song of the summer. It's 10 biggest songs. Okay, just give me throw some song ideas. I'll give you 3 tries. Let's see if you can get at least 3 of the 10.
The 10 biggest songs of the summer on TikTok.
Yeah, no cheating.
Sabrina Carpenter, Espresso. Taylor Swift.
Right artist, wrong song.
Oh, it's not Espresso. Whatever her follow-up single is. I don't know what it's called.
Mm-hmm. I'll give you half a point.
Taylor Swift, Assorted. She doesn't even appear in there. Okay. Chappelle Roan. Not Like Us. Okay, I give up.
This is the biggest song on TikTok.
Banger. Listen to those bars.
Mami, te siento lejos, dime dónde estás. Te quiero chingar, te voy a arrastrar. Déjate llevar, apaga el celular. Si estás conmigo no te va a pasar nada. Solo déjate llevar. Ven atenta a la jugada. Que yo quiero contigo y tú quieres conmigo. Ey, dale, ponte mami.
That is Gata Only by Flo Menor and Chris MJ. The biggest song on the TikTok.
But Kendrick's Not Like Us is also there now, Philip.
No, it's not.
And
It's not.
I'm literally looking at the list here.
Then are you looking at the global or the US?
TikTok's top 10 songs of the summer. I suppose it's US.
The top 10 global is Gata Only. Number 2, Your Girlfriend, Tinashe, Nasty. Number 3,
Nasty Girl.
$1 Million Baby by
bananas.
Tommy Richmond. Number 4, Birds of a Feather, Billie Eilish. Number 5, Alibi by Cez Vadeliza featuring Pablo Vittar and Yilft. 6, Please, Please, Please by Sabrina Carpenter. Number 7, Este by El Alfa and Nsafis. Tell Your Girlfriend, Lay Banks. Si No Queries, No Luis Conriguez and Neton Vega. And then number 10, Si Antes Te Hubiera, y con Ciro by Karol G. A lot of the Hispanic music on the global chart in the TikTok.
Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. All right. Now, Phil, now I'm going for real. Why don't you have compassion?
All right, let's go. Yo, that new KO and Nasty song. Have you heard it?
I have, yes. We had KO on radio to launch it.
Insane.
Well, via phone.
Insane. That Nasty's verses.
Also that new Natio Freeman and Master H Jegera. Big tune. In fact, I suggest that we end. I feel you don't know ball. That's a big tune. The big tune. I suggest we end the podcast with that one.
Okay.
Unless you have a worthier candidate.
No, there's a
But
lot
yeah,
of that.
look, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I have to end it here. Thank you very much for tuning in. TwoBrokeTwimbos.com/donate if you would like to show your appreciation for the podcast. You can become a Patreon subscriber. If you've got the big pockets, then absolutely, please drop that Mbinga tier subscription, and we would appreciate it. Otherwise, you can also do a once-off donation. We'd greatly appreciate that too. We've got the Two Broke Twimbos Fantasy League going strong. It has just been game week 1, so we won't do any reviews yet. But I see some people are doing very well. I think we may even discuss some picks on here. And tomorrow, in fact, this weekend, we will be outside, or at least I'll be outside to one thing. I was thinking of maybe 2 things, but I think one. I'll only make one. So we might have some reviews of some things going on. Maybe our patrons, you know what? I can do some tickets for our patrons.
That'd be dope.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have to take advantage of this time to get out of here. Jig it out to close the show, and we'll catch you in the next episode. We out.
At the end of the day, don't give up the fight. But no better massive here comes the sun. That I'm like a jigera. I'm like a jigera. Cause every new day brings a different vibe. Turn an opportunity to rectify. That I'm like a jigera. I'm like a jigera. Even if you try to win the prize, shit I'ma try another time. I'm like a jigera. I'm like a jigera. Even if you try to win the prize, shit I'ma try. I will never cry. I'm like a jigera.
Light. Me da se movement nigga don't get a fight. 1, 2, sugar number try at the time. Waka simba you wepa not a kryptonite. But never go come no good simba a big time. And as a prayer best pound not a good tonight. You the diva you don't let a go lie at time. How ga miss for challenge the mosquito bite. Tere waka dero jimbo chicken. Shemukana ashuna go desire. You special nobody can say you can do it. Profit in a different way you the unique.
At the end of the day, don't give up the fight. But no better massive here comes the sun.